billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the noble greeting, the universal and noble greeting of peace, the greeting that has been used by the prophets and the messengers of our universal Creator, Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am very privileged to be alive, to be well, to be healthy, and to be bringing to Allah a purified heart, that I am here, alive and on purpose, and that I am applying myself with every passing day for a purpose that is cleansing my heart, bringing to Allah a purified heart. It's a great privilege to be guided as a human being to human excellence. I can't describe it in any other way except human excellence. To be what we were created to be, to aspire to be what we were created to be, what Allah was impressed with His own creation. He asked the rest of creation to be in adoration, to bow. That we are guided, that there's a refuge for us, that we as human beings, the children of Adam and Eve on the planet after Adam and Eve's incident, we were left feeling distraught and threatened and vulnerable. And the Prophet Adam, peace be upon him, repented, and Allah said to him, according to the Quran, there you and your people will be until guidance comes to you. Those who receive the guidance, they will no longer be insecure. There will be people who will have diseased hearts, and they'll be astray. Those who can hear the guidance and bring to Allah a purified heart, those who can receive the guidance, that the guidance is to bring to Allah a purified heart, those who can receive that guidance, they will no longer be astray, there will no longer be a disease in their hearts, they will no longer be insecure, they will be secure, mu'min, believers. They will be aware beyond what the body and the mind perceive, the truth beyond this created world. They will no longer be distracted by this created world, living lost in this created world. They will be connected to their Creator, they will have a relationship with their Creator, and they will experience greater and greater security. So, we are thankful to Allah who has given humanity guidance, and that we are among those to hear guidance, and that we are among those to receive guidance, that Allah is our refuge, that we have a refuge, that a refuge is required by us, that we can claim that refuge. A'udhu billah. We claim the refuge with Allah, we claim the protection with Allah, from Satan the accursed, from the whisperings, from those aspects of ourselves which are lost. Satan whispered to Adam and Eve, Satan's whispers to humanity. Those aspects of us that a lot of people are controlled by, lost in, and live as. Those phantom aspects, those parts of us that sin, that are in error, that deny Allah, that deny the gifts of Allah, deny the greatness of Allah, deny the graciousness of Allah. Humanity is lost, and we can remain lost. And we can live as people live, without the awareness of the condition of our hearts, insecurity, without the awareness that we are controlled by insecurity, and that there is for us a refuge with Allah, so that we no longer controlled by insecurity, aka Satan. Satan whispers into the hearts and withdraws. Satan is a deceiver, the chief deceiver. The Quran calls Satan the chief deceiver. Satan has no power. Satan, in a sense, is the great con artist, the great liar. And if we don't claim refuge with Allah, we are vulnerable to the great liar. Not that the great liar has any power, not that the great liar can control us, but the Quran tells us that over those who are devout in the worship of Allah, Satan will have no authority. See, Satan will have no authority over those devout in the worship of Allah. That means if you are with Allah, if you have a refuge with your Creator, and you experience security with your Allah, with your Creator, then Satan can't whisper to you. Satan has no authority. You see, he's the chief deceiver. He's a liar. He fools people. If you're unaware of truth, if you're ignorant, superstitious, arrogant, you'll be easily fooled. And that's where humanity is, easily fooled. We do stupid things. We are unaware of our self-defeating, life-destructive ways. We are unaware that we're living in a way that really doesn't benefit us. We think it's all nice, what we're doing. But we don't realize that we're keeping away from us Allah's good in this world through our death and beyond. We are robbing ourselves. Satan is not robbing us. He can't rob us. It's a con artist. You see, con artists, they can't rob you. They don't really rob you. They fool you. They fool us into robbing ourselves, con artists. They tell us something is too good to be true, but it is true. And, we buy into it and then we get conned. I mean, how many of us have been conned by people? They didn't rob us. They didn't come at gunpoint and say, here, give me what you got. Or a knife point, give me what you have. They didn't rob us. They conned us. People, we've been conned. When we are unaware, ignorant, superstitious, we are conned. When we are unaware of our Creator and the truth of our Creator, truth, haq, when we live in superstition, ignorance and arrogance, we are easily conned. The Quran says Satan puts fear into the hearts of people. Satan threatens people with insecurity and causes people to behave in ways unseemly. You understand? Satan puts fear. Like, what do you mean puts fear? Nobody can put fear into your heart. If you are not secure with Allah, you'll feel threatened. So Satan is a prompter suggesting to you that you should feel threatened. And you're alone and there's nothing for you that's going to help you. And you're threatened and vulnerable. And you've got to protect yourself. And you've got to do this and you've got to do that. You've got to be compulsive. You've got to be obsessive. You've got to be addictive. You've got to look after yourself. Satan will tell you. You're alone. Listen to me. Satan will tell you. Do this, do that. You're doing something very good. In the meantime, the first thing you're not doing is focusing on Allah. You know what I mean? The first thing you're not doing is focusing on a relationship with your Creator. You understand? So, this is the thing that we are talking about here. That human beings can remain lost without the awareness that they are lost. And this is what it means, they're astray. In their hearts is a disease, and they're left to stray. And the disease is increased. That no matter how much you try and explain to people or guide them, they will not hear. They will not hear. No matter how much you try to guide people, they will not hear. Deaf, dumb and blind they are. It's pointless. So, we're talking about guided by Allah, that we are astray, we are insecure, and that our ways are destructive. And that guidance has come to us of how to move forward in life, to go beyond lies and superstition, ignorance and arrogance, to become aware of the truth, to become aware of our Creator, to experience a relationship with our Creator, from which Satan will no longer be able to control us. Because Satan can't control us, but we are controlled through our vulnerability, through our failure to feel secure with our Creator. If you feel scared and threatened, somebody will easily manipulate you through your fears, through your neediness. But if you feel secure and non-needy, you'll be able to see clearly. You'll be able to recognize and register and receive and rejoice. You'll be able to be aware and to see what's going on around you. You see, a lot of people have this barrier that keeps them from seeing clearly. It keeps them from being aware and conscious because they're worshipping Satan. Nobody likes to admit it, that we are all lost to some degree or another. Nobody likes to admit that the Quran is a book of guidance to support us in healing the diseases in our hearts. People just want to say, no, it's just a book to be read, and the more you read it in a language you don't understand, the better it is. Learn to memorize it, learn to do everything with it, besides receive its guidance. Purify yourself, cleanse yourself before you read it, this, that and the other, but, don't receive its guidance. The Quran is telling us, claim refuge with Allah. Allah is a refuge. Humanity requires a refuge. We are all astray. The prophets were guided to submission. They guided us to submission. They brought through revelations that guided us to submission. to release this world and the control it has over us. To release this world and our trying to control it. To become aware, to stop everything, drop everything, to take a moment, to take a vow. You understand? To submit. We are guided to submit. The Quran says, don't say you're a believer, for Iman has not entered into your hearts. Rather say you are one submissive in religion. That's not the same thing as submitting to Allah. You are one submissive in religion. Get what I mean? People can practice religion, but they can be very far away from Allah. The Quran encourages us to prostrate, to adore and draw closer. To adore our Creator and draw closer. To become aware of our Creator, His greatness and graciousness, His power and privileging, and to draw closer. The Quran encourages us to draw closer. Take one step towards Allah and Allah takes 10 steps towards you metaphorically. Our purpose in life is to draw closer to Allah, through prostration, through adoration, through taking steps towards Allah, through striving in His path. This is our ambition. As believers, as people who want to be believers, as people who want to be strengthened in faith, it's a challenge. It is a challenge for all of us. The Quran guides us to truth, it guides us to our Creator, who our Creator is to us, the nature of our Creator, the relationship our Creator has with us. Our Creator is relating to us, created us, continues us, favors us. Not only do we exist, having life and a quantity of life in this world and the world beyond, but we have a quality of life in this world and the world beyond. Our Creator is caring and considerate, championing and cherishing, loving. The Creator's love is given to us. Our existence has been given to us. Get what I mean? Our existence has been given to us. We didn't earn our existence. The favors have been given to us. We are created as the most favored creation that we know of on earth, with a marked preferment, the Quran says. So Quran guides us to Allah, His greatness, His graciousness, His power, His presence, His patience, His provisioning, His providing, His protecting, His progressing, His prospering, His being our personal assistant. Other than Allah, you have no helper. Other than Allah, you have no guardian. Not me, not Maulana Guru, not anybody. There is only Allah for us to be aware of and to acknowledge, to begin to recognize Allah's availability and accessibility to us, recognizing that as a privilege, taking that option to draw closer to our Creator. Not everybody wants to do that, because people worship Satan. They might want to be submissive in religion, but they don't want to have a relationship with their Creator. They have these barriers. You know what I mean? You're going to look at them. People don't want to heed the guidance of the Quran. The guidance of the Quran is about one thing and one thing alone. If you look at the Quran, it is about learning. It's a book of education. It's not a book. It's a book of enlightenment, education, empowerment. The Quran is a benefit to humanity. You get what I mean? It's a blessing to humanity. It's empowering of us. It's guiding us. It's a book of guidance. Read it. It'll tell you. For those who contemplate, for those who reason, it's a book of guidance. It's a book of truth. For those who want to know the truth, for those who want to be expanded in awareness and experience at a higher level in this world. It's a book for those who want to become aware of the unseen, rather than live in the world identified with the body and the seen world. It's a book for those who want to establish regular prayer. You know what I mean? Every day submit, every day become aware, every day connect, every day draw closer. It's a book. The Quran is for that kind of a person. You get what I mean? That's what it says. And so, it's a book of guidance. It's about learning. It's in support of growth and development. The Quran guides us to become more aware. The Quran guides us to be more aware. To be more aware of our Creator, His relationship with us who we are, the favors of our Lord. The Quran asks, which of the favors of your Lord do you deny? 31 times. Because people are denying. People say suffering is what life is about. It's a test. To suffer in style with a smile on your face is what sabr is, people think. People are lost. They're not aware of Allah, they're not aware of the Quran and its value to us, Allah and His value to us, the priceless value that Allah is, His guidance that is the Quran, His messengers, especially the remarkable human being that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the final revelator, was in terms of excellence of mannerisms and conduct and character, and in conveying the Quran and its message, embodying its teaching. Most people are not aware of Allah. They have ideas about Allah. They're trained in ways to think and act and but there's no awareness and relating. There's no experiencing of Allah consciousness. Most people have ideas about the Quran that are denying its guidance to humanity. It tells us how to live, how to function. Not only how to connect with our Creator and about our Creator and what we can be with our Creator, worshipping our Creator, turning to our Creator, trusting in our Creator, the trustworthy. It guides us to be aware that Allah is the trustworthy, the praiseworthy, the thankworthy, the invoke-worthy, and how Allah is enough for us to experience being protected by Allah, progress by Allah, prosper. How to live with faith and access and interact with Allah. The Quran is guiding us to that, but it also guides us how we are to interact with ourselves, how to live, the most basic thing of hygiene, inner and outer. The Quran is guiding us to inner and outer hygiene. Eat properly, eat halal and tayyib. Clean yourself, eat cleanly. You get what I mean? Keep your inner world, inner body clean, the outer body clean. The Quran is a guidance for your psyche, mental health, spiritual health. Learn to appreciate, learn to value. Live naturally. Be compassionate. God has put compassion and mercy in your heart. See, this is the Quran, it's a guidance. It's a guidance for humanity to relate to the Creator, to relate to ourselves, our body, to have a way of being in the world that is psychological health, emotional health, spiritual health. It's a way of how to relate to people honestly, fairly, to give and receive. To connect with the right people, to be with people that are also secure with Allah, to be with people who receive the guidance of the Quran and the Prophet and aspire to be demonstrating the characteristics of the Prophet: humility, honesty, friendliness, optimism. The Prophet didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he didn't sell cigarettes. He didn't sell toxins and poisons and all that sort of thing. He was a human being guiding people to a better world for himself, for his family, for his tribe, and for the whole world. A mercy, sent as a mercy, guiding human beings to learning, growth and development. You see, to what end is the guidance that is the Quran, the example that is the Prophet? To what end? See, is it just to have ideas about God in your mind but not be aware and have the experience of Allah consciousness? Is it just to have ideas about the Quran and this is what I should do with God, this is what I should do with the Quran, but not aware and receiving from God, not aware and receiving from the Quran its guidance? Oh, this is how I should be. I should just have a beard and wear a hat. As long as I wear a white cloth over my body, no matter what the health of my body or my eating situation is, as long as my pants is above the ankles. But that's humility at the time of the Prophet. Humility, guiding people to live humility, demonstrating humility. The beingness of the Prophet. The beingness of Allah is great, gracious, giving, granting, merciful, forgiving, patient, privileging, the powerful. These are the attributes of Allah, the providing, the promoting of us, the progressing and prospering of us, the protecting. The Prophet was peaceful and kind and friendly and optimistic, supportive, honest, a clean heart, trustworthy, humble, hygienic. You know what I mean? This is what he stood for. But there are people who are not aware of the Prophet and what he stood for: justice and the improvement of people's individual functioning and people's collective functioning, supporting of an individual, operating at a higher level, families and communities operating at a higher level, the world operating at a higher level. You see? So Allah, the Quran, the Prophet, the beautiful way of Islam, eat this, that is wholesome, clean, live naturally. God put compassion, our Creator put compassion and mercy in our hearts for each other. Express being humane. Don't fight with each other. Satan is the one who will put thoughts into your mind that keep you away from Allah, that keep you away from the Quran, that keep you away from the Prophet, that keep you away from Islam, that keep you away from invoking Him. See, people are lost. And so, this is what the whole teaching is about, human excellence. See, people are just thinking it's just about having beliefs about God, and we have these beliefs and those people have those beliefs. And we have beliefs about the Quran, it just must be read and that's all. But don't study it and don't benefit from it. So we're not really having a relationship with our Creator. Get what I mean? We're not really having a relationship with the Quran that is empowering of us. Its purpose is to take us out of darkness, ignorance, superstition, arrogance, to take us out of this denial of our Creator, association of partners with our Creator, to take us out of hypocrisy with our Creator, to take us out of ignorance, superstition, arrogance, to take us out of being lost in foolishness and folly, in destructive ways, with ourselves, our bodies, our lives, with other people. It's there to guide us constructively with our Creator, with the Quran. Before you read the Quran, the Quran says, say A'udhu, claim the refuge with Allah, because there's aspects of you that are worshipping Satan, that you're remaining in darkness, that heart is impure, and you can't hear it. Satan is whispering to you. When you're reading it, you can't get it. Claim the refuge. Be somebody who recognizes that you are in error, and that you are lost, and that our purpose here is to move towards human excellence. There are not many people that have a desire and aspire to human excellence. They're not. They're not. I am. I sin. I'm a believer who sins. It's not that I'm championing sinning. I'm sorry, I have remorse and regret for my sinning. It's not the best thing, to keep sinning, to be not connected to your Creator and not getting closer to your Creator, to not actually hear the message of truth and guidance that is in the Quran, to not recognize the Prophet for the amazing human being and the character and aspire to his character, to fail to recognize the beautiful teaching of Islam and the benefit that it is to us, our families, our communities, the society, the world. It's not just, hey guys, other people are doing this, you don't do that, you do this. Look at the teachings of the Quran. Alcohol forbidden. It's destructive in society. It destroys people. It destroys families. It destroys communities. It's destructive, alcohol. Forbidden. Stay away from it. There is some value in it. If you sell it, there is some value in it for something, but it's best that you stay away from it, from being intoxicated. Stay away from it. Don't use it to intoxicate. Gambling. You know what I mean? Destroys people, their finances, it destroys families, destroys communities. Can you see? Islam is not a way of, we got our set of things that's right and wrong. Islam is there for guiding humanity. And there are some of us who love Allah, shukr to Allah, and we love truth. And we are repentant and remorseful. We ask for forgiveness. And Allah guides our heart. And we are inspired to be those people who fulfill our purpose in this world through our death and beyond. We are inspired to draw closer to Allah in this world through our death and beyond. We are inspired to be those people who are showing a visible difference in our personality, in our behaviors, in our lives, because we are releasing Satan worship. We are releasing ignorance, superstition and arrogance. We are not continuing in our ways of a diseased heart. If you're remaining the same, and your life is remaining the same, or if your life is getting worse, it is an indication that you are in a diseased heart space. You get what I mean? The Quran says, come to prayer, come to worship, come to success. That if you remember Allah, there is success for you. If you remember Allah, there's success for you. Why? Because you are more secure. As a more secure person, you're more aware. As a more aware person, you function and operate with the behaviors of a more secure person. You have a way of relating as a more secure person. You have a way of having a set point of attraction as a more set point. Better things happen to you. The Quran says, dua averts misfortune, adversities, avert it. You know what I mean? You have people in your life and you learn to relate to them as a humane being. The Quran, the Prophet, these are the promoters of Islam. Of course, all the prophets promoted faith in Allah and living naturally with Iman. But Islam gives us a theocracy. It shows us human beings' relationship to our Creator. And it shows us human beings operating in our own lives and in the world in a system that benefits. Am I promoting Sharia law? Am I promoting Islam to control the world? I'm promoting humanity living at a higher level. Because there are many people who say they stand for the Sharia, but they're not living at the higher level. You get what I mean? They're not understanding that this is for the development of people, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, behaviorally. It's all about the development. You cannot remain an underdeveloped, spiritually underdeveloped person, but promote religion. The Quran says, woe to these people, they are hypocrites. They say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they do not believe in Allah in the last day. They fool themselves thinking they fool Allah. In their hearts is a disease, and Allah, they are astray, and Allah leaves them to stray, and the disease is expanded. Woe to those who pray, but lack the smallest of kindnesses. You get what I mean? It's all for ego show. The darkness within them is not owned and is not worked on. The shadow rules them. I've come to see, at this age that I am now, after being around for about 5 decades or so, that a lot of people hide in religion. They hide their darkness and their shadows. They don't want to admit that they are in error and there is growth. They remain without admitting that they are in error and there is growth. They just live in darkness. Many people live in darkness and then they just have the appearance of religiosity. But in their hearts is a disease, a sickness, there's perversion. There's no value that comes from these people. There's no value, no real value. It's all excitement. It's all we are right, this is wrong, we are better than. But it's all self-righteous. Why am I telling you this? Because until a person can begin to recognize we are in error without shame and guilt. Last week I was saying that we all are astray to some degree or another. That's where we all start. Don't feel bad. Am I saying that you must continue to be astray and be happy that you are astray? I'm just saying, don't take it personally that you are like the prophets and you and I and everybody else in this world, the children of Adam, in a state of darkness, unconscious superstition. That it's evident from the way we think, speak, our lives, how we live. Some of us can see that there's deprivation, dissatisfaction. We're not receiving Allah's good in this world and the world beyond. Others can see that there's no joy and enjoyment, there's no satisfaction, there's no fulfillment. We just get up in the morning like robots, go through the day, go to bed at night, and that might also include robotic prayer. But there's no purification of the heart, there's no joy, there's no rejoicing. I can tell you that in my own guidance, Allah guiding me, the Quran says, you believe in Allah, He'll guide your heart. That there has been a heart that has been cleansed. There's peace, there's joy, there's patience, there's trust, more and more. There is compassion for myself. There's receiving Allah's compassion. There's being thankful that Allah is forgiving. And I can then begin to admit that I'm in error, look at my errors and correct my errors. There are many who act like they don't err. In fact, they act like they are very good. They carry guilt and shame unowned. You get what I mean? We got to own our guilt and shame. And we got to recognize that Allah is the compassionate and the merciful. Allah is truly the compassionate and the merciful. We got to admit that we are in error, feel the guilt and release it, and allow the forgiveness of Allah to reach us, to release that guilt, that shame that we feel, that we've done wrong, that we're doing wrong. And even there are many who have done wrong and do wrong, but present themselves as very, holy moly Muslims. They don't want to admit they're wrong. They're trapped in they're in a trap. Satan has got them in a trap. Until you begin to see that in our hearts is a disease, that we are in error, until you begin to see how we're relating to our Creator or not relating to our Creator, until we begin to see that that we are in error, that we are being defeating and destructive, until we begin to see that and be remorseful and be thankful that Allah is compassionate and merciful, the forgiving, that we are astray, and if we continue to be astray, that's on us. We're astray, and if we move forward, we know that Allah is the forgiving. We can move forward. We can move forward to being a better me, a better you, a better us. We can move forward into security with Allah. We can move forward into being more self-respecting and life-respecting. You know what I mean? We can move forward to receive more of Allah's good in this world and the world. And it begins by seeing I'm in error, not acting like you're doing something wonderful. When you become aware of what you're doing that is a problem, and you at least have remorse for doing it, and you can be in your heart choosing to stop doing that, that's a good thing. When you can recognize what is good for you that you don't do, and you can have remorse that you're not doing it, and you can in your heart want to do it, then that's a good thing. Let me give you an example. There are foods that we can eat. The Quran says eat halal and tayyib. I know most people just stop at halal. Eat halal, full stop. They put a full stop where there is no full stop. It says eat halal and tayyib. Eat halal and tayyib. You see, people said that the people of Moses changed their books. They changed them. We thought they took a eraser and erased and rewrote. They changed their books. No. They put full stops and pauses and commas and this and that. Like the Muslims of today. Eat only halal, full stop. The Quran doesn't put a full stop. It says eat halal, and eat wholesome, eat clean, eat nourishing foods, eat beneficial foods. So if you start realizing, hey, I'm putting things into my mouth, are these things permissible? Are they edible? Like for human compulsion. Pig is not for human consumption. It's not meant for, it's got no neck. It's got uric acid in its body. They can't slaughter it. It's a scavenger. A pork is not for human consumption. Jesus never ate the pig, Moses never ate the pig, and so the Prophet Muhammad never ate the pig, so don't eat the pig. Okay, we got the halal. What else is halal? Look for halal things, like eat halal. And there's other things as well. Split hooves are haram. Don't eat a horse and whatever it is, certain types of animals. Don't eat carnivorous animals because they got split hooves. The claw of the lion, don't eat a lion, whatever it is. All that sort of thing. Certain. Don't eat a dog because of the split hooves. The Quran guides you. These are not things for human consumption. And it also guides you, eat clean, eat wholesome. And you might be thinking, I just eat halal. Some don't even do that. But some people, I will eat halal. I don't eat wholesome. Until you become aware, I'm damaging me. There's behaviors that I'm doing. This I'm eating is not wholesome. You get what I mean? Until you see it, you will be operating in a damaging of your health kind of way. You're not following the Quranic guidance. And there might be things that are wholesome and healthy. You might say, I don't eat that, I don't eat that. Who is the one that's going to admit this guidance from you? I must claim refuge with Allah. In terms of my eating, I've got to claim refuge with Allah. I'm worshipping Satan. Satan is leading me astray. He's telling me, eat when you're not hungry. He's telling me, this year it tastes nice, have more of it. Yummy, 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 all that sort of. But the Quran is saying to us, beyond your animal self, beyond just feeling hungry and eating, there is for enlightenment for human beings. Become aware of halal. Become aware of tayyib. So some people won't claim refuge with Allah. They just continue in their unconscious ways. But some of us would say, no, we are destined for human excellence. Allah has guided us to learn, grow and develop. We can operate with Allah in a healthy way. We can operate with ourselves and our bodies and our lives in a healthy way. We can operate with others in our lives, in our lives in a healthy way. We can play a more progressive role in our lives. Now that is somebody who's claiming refuge with Allah. And they start learning, they start groaning. What is the Quran saying? They don't say just read it over and over. They have ideas about it and ideas about what its value is, but it's not aware of what it is and not aware of what its real value is. You start waking up from the trance and you start listening and reflecting. For those who reflect, for those who contemplate, the Quran says, for those who reason, the Quran says, who is worse as a creation, as a lowlier creation, than one who does not reason? You get what I mean? The Quran says people are like herd animals, cattle, grazing here and grazing there, eating like, cattle here and there with other cattle. They don't think. They don't reason. Allah gave us the faculty of akal. But most people, they want to worship Satan, they want to continue in their ways. They don't want to claim refuge with Allah and demonstrate human excellence. They don't want to learn, grow and develop. They don't want to show up in the world and operate at a higher level. They don't want to do that. They don't really want to do that. See? So, you could, if you are a person on a path of purpose in this world, from dark to the light, you could begin to say, Allah is forgiving and merciful. I am in error, we are lost. Allah is forgiving. I'm not going to act like I don't have any guilt. I'm not going to project guilt onto not me, others. Because I got my beard, I got no problems. Those who got no beard, they are the wrong ones. Satan will make all the stories in your head. You get what I mean? Oh, I'm wearing the niqab, so I'm better than everybody else. Other people have got the problem. In the meantime, we are each got our own difficulties, our own, insecurity to overcome, our own darkness to release, our own satanic promptings to move beyond. But most people, they're not interested. You get what I mean? So, who is the type of person who will begin to explore their ways and what is unhealthy that they're doing and have remorse? And begin to, in their heart, say, I wish I could be that way. I want to be the way of eating healthy in their hearts, Or most people just ignore it. No, not me, I'm not guilty. You know what I mean? We can sin or we're guilty, we're in error, we're harming ourselves. Without shame and guilt. Receive Allah's compassion and mercy. And have sorrow for what we're doing. That we're putting things into our mouth that is not helping us and healing us. We're getting more and more sick as a community of people. And the things that are healthy, we're not putting into our mouths. We're not consuming healthy. Who can see that? Who is prepared to look at their lives and say, hey, let me take the message of the Quran. How am I with my body? How am I with Allah? That doing things that are not healthy and not doing things that are healthy. How am I with the Quran? How am I in my life? How am I with other people? See, who is this person? Is a very remarkable person. I aspire to be such a person that will reflect on them and their lives and how they live, and will reflect on the ways that harm themselves, have remorse, receive the compassion, mercy and forgiveness of Allah, and aspire higher in that direction, and do what they can in that direction to consume or to be healthy, and stop being unhealthy. And wherever they are not supporting a greater benefit to themselves and playing a beneficial role in their lives, to be that. Now these are the believers. This is truly what makes a believer. Somebody who's prepared to find refuge in Allah. Otherwise, you'll just be with your clans and your tribes, with your habits, whether it's eating habits, whatever. You'll just continue in the darkness that is prevailing. You won't really, with Allah, seek refuge and claim that refuge in Allah. You get what I mean? So, I just want to end with this, that there is a phenomenon. We're talking about eating. When somebody who hasn't eaten healthy for a while or hasn't eaten food for a while, they get nutritional diseases. And you see them sometimes in Africa, before in Ethiopia and all that. You see these babies that have this big stomach, you think they're overeating. In the meantime, it's nutritional. They haven't eaten food. That's why that has happened. The organs are distorted and all that sort of thing. And if you try to give them food after a while, like that, they can't eat it. The body can't assimilate it. So what I'm saying to you is, if there's guidance given to us, if we are discussing guidance here and sharing it to the people who haven't recognized guidance and the value of guidance and have been misguided are so warped that if you tell them this, they can't receive it. It's like, something that's good for you and healthy for you. If you starve from it for so long, you can really get so warped and skewed that when it's presented to you later on, you can't receive it. So there are people like that, sadly. It's not me, shukr to Allah, All praise, glory and thanks is due to Allah Almighty. His choicest blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.